rock and learn!
You've learned how to use the tools in my writer's toolbox. But when you write, you usually don't end up with a perfect paper. You might have errors in capitalization, spelling, punctuation, or something else. Now, content is most important. But like it or not, your readers might be distracted by careless errors. Not careless arrows, careless errors. You know, mistakes in your writing. After I've finished writing, I go through a little checklist to help me make corrections. This list reminds me to check my paragraphs, my sentences, my words, punctuation, capitalization, and my title. Later, I will tell you how to get a copy for yourself.
Thanks, Marco. This checklist will help me proof my writing for careless arrows. I mean errors.
I'm sure it will. Let's look at some samples so we can practice proofing. For the longer passages, I've numbered the sentences, like you might see on a writing test. The numbers make it easier to ask questions about the passage. But while reading it, skip over the numbers so that the story flows better.
I can do that. Max wrote the following rough draft for a science report about spiders. As you read, think about the corrections and improvements Max should make. Then, answer the questions that follow. Spiders, to leave or not to leave? My mother screamed at the top of her lungs, "Come get this monster out of my window!" My father grabbed a baseball bat and rushed into the family room, expecting to see a mountain lion or bear. Instead, he found a beautifully decorated spider sitting on a web that glistened in the morning sun. Dad hated to squash such an unusual spider, but he didn't want to move something that might be dangerous. We searched for information on the internet. I was amazed at how many spiders were helpful and how few were dangerous. Spiders are helpful because they eat harmful insects. Some eat grasshoppers and locusts that destroy crops. Others eat flies and mosquitoes, which can carry diseases. Mom also screams when she sees grasshoppers. Scientists know of over 30,000 kinds of spiders, but they estimate that there may be 50,000 to 100,000 species. Nearly all spiders have some sort of fangs and poison glands. Only 6 spiders in North America are known to be dangerous. They are the brown recluse, the black widow, the common sac, the brown widow, the red-legged widow, and the varied widow. Looking at pictures on the internet, we determined our spider was a North American banana spider. These spiders can spin webs up to 2 feet across, and they use their webs to catch aphids, flies, grasshoppers, wasps, and bees. The venom of the North American banana spider isn't toxic to humans, so these spiders are not considered dangerous. All spiders, however, can and will bite if they feel threatened. Some people have bad reactions to spider bites. It is best not to touch spiders with your hands. Dad and I decided to use a large jar and paper to relocate the spider to the woods. Since many spiders can be helpful to us, I think we should watch them and provide them space to live.
Notice how Max used a real-life experience to draw us into his science report.
Yeah, he caught my attention with that hook, but I think I saw a few errors in his report.
Ah, that will be helpful in answering the questions.
1. In which sentence is all of the punctuation correct? A. Sentence 1. My mother screamed at the top of her lungs, "Come get this monster out of my window!" I think this needs a comma somewhere.
You are very observant. I see that Max did get his quotation marks in the proper place, around the words his mom actually said. But since your quoted statement comes at the end of the sentence, he needs a comma before the opening quotation mark.
B. Sentence 2. My father grabbed a baseball bat and rushed into the family room, expecting to see a mountain lion or bear. Oops, he forgot to put a period at the end.
So we know that one's not right either.
C. Sentence 3. Instead, he found a beautifully decorated spider sitting on a web that glistened in the morning sun. Answer C looks correct. But let's check D, sentence 4. Dad hated to squash such an unusual spider, but he didn't want to move something that might be dangerous.
Something looks kind of funny about the word didn't.
Max forgot the apostrophe.
So the answer is C. Sentence 3.
2. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 8?
Take another look at sentence 8 to refresh your memory.
Some eat grasshoppers and locusts that destroy crops.
Without looking at the answers, do you see any changes that you would make to this sentence?
It doesn't look like a run-on sentence or a choppy sentence. The subject and verb are in agreement. Spelling. Let's see. Wait. Instead of grass, hoppers being 2 words, it's supposed to be a compound word.
Now look through your answers.
The answer is B. Change grass, hoppers to grasshoppers.
Great job!
3. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 13?
Here we go!
Only 6 spiders in North America are known to be dangerous. I think North needs to be capitalized along with the word America. The names of continents are capitalized.
I agree. Let's see if that is one of the answers.
Here it is. A. Change north to north with a capital N. But wait a minute. What about C?
I'm glad you asked. The only time you capitalize every letter in a word is when it's an acronym or other abbreviation, or to show screaming in print. In this context, it wouldn't make sense for Max to be screaming the word dangerous.
That means answer A is right. 4. What is the correct way to combine sentences 19 and 20 without changing the meaning?
First, let's read the 2 original sentences so we have the meaning fresh in our minds.
Some people have bad reactions to spider bites. It is best not to touch spiders with your hands.
Now let's look at each answer and see what we think.
A. Some people have bad reactions to spider bites, so it is best to touch spiders carefully.
Oh no! The author isn't asking anyone to handle the spiders. This changes the meaning.
B. Some people have bad reactions to spider bites, so it is best not to touch spiders with your hands.
That sounds good. Let's read the last 2 answers just to be sure.
C. People look at spiders so that they don't get bitten.
That doesn't say anything about some people having bad reactions or about not handling spiders. This one changes the meaning too.
D. If you look at a spider, it will bite you.
Now that's just silly.
I agree. Just looking at a spider doesn't mean it's going to bite you.
Our answer is B. Some people have bad reactions to spider bites, so it is best not to touch spiders with your hands.
5. What is the correct way to write the underlined word in sentence 17? Let's see. The venom of the North American banana spider isn't toxic to humans, so these spiders are not considered dangerous.
Remember this rule for contractions. The apostrophe goes in place of the letter or letters left out.
That rules out choices A and B.
And answer C doesn't even have an apostrophe.
I don't think it needs changing.
Smart girl. So our answer is D. Make no change.
6. Which of the following, if any, is not a complete sentence?
Okay, we need to look at sentences 5, 7, and 22.
5 says, we searched for information on the internet.
It's shorter than most of the sentences, but it's a complete sentence with a subject and a verb. It forms a complete thought.
7 says, spiders are helpful because they eat harmful insects.
Again, this is a complete sentence.
22 says, since many spiders can be helpful to us.
That one kind of leaves you hanging, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe Max just made a mistake and put a period instead of a comma because he was writing too fast.
That is quite possible, and it's one of the reasons you should always proofread your writing when you're done, to catch those careless errors you make when you're simply trying to get your ideas down on paper or into a computer. This sentence looks much better this way. Since many spiders can be helpful to us, I think we should watch them and provide them space to live.
Hey, that does sound better. It looks like sentence 22 is not a complete sentence.
That means our answer is C. Sentence 22.
7. Which sentence does not belong in this paper?
We need to look at sentences 4, 7, 10, and 21.
4 says, Dad hated to squash such an unusual spider, but he didn't want to move something that might be dangerous.
That sentence gives the reason or purpose for looking up facts about spiders. It's a keeper.
7 says, spiders are helpful because they eat harmful insects.
That sentence is important as well. It gives us another fact about spiders.
10 says, Mom also screams when she sees grasshoppers.
Apparently Max's mom doesn't like any creepy crawly things. But that sentence doesn't really belong in this paper since it has nothing to do with spiders. Let's read our last answer choice to make sure this is the answer that we want to mark.
Okay. Sentence 21 says, Dad and I decided to use a large jar and paper to relocate the spider to the woods.
That sentence tells us how Max and Dad used all the information they found to make a decision. So it should stay too. It looks like sentence 10 is the one that does not belong. So our answer is C, sentence 10. I started to fill in the wrong bubble. I need to be sure to erase the wrong answer completely. That way our right answer will get counted. When you are taking a test, you need to be sure that your answers are marked neatly. Any stray marks could cause your answers to be counted wrong. And we don't want that. A deep breath. And a stretch. And on we go.
Kylie wrote this story about trying something new. She wants you to review her paper. As you read what Kylie wrote, think about the corrections and improvements Kylie should make. Then answer the questions that follow. A matter of taste. Until recently, Dad called me a picky eater. One day when he asked me if I'd like to try something new for dinner, I got my chance to prove him wrong. We met Dad's friend Mr. Bezos and his daughter Alexis at a Greek restaurant. I was a little afraid to try the exotic food, but I was determined to be brave. We went to a Greek restaurant for more than just the food. The whole evening was an experience to remember. We got to Nico's restaurant just as a band was starting to play. The music they played was full of energy. One man from the band came over and asked Alexis and me if we wanted to learn how to do a Greek line dance. We were busy learning the dance and working up an appetite, and we didn't see the waiter come to take our order. Dad and Mr. Bezos ordered for us. By the time we sat down, I couldn't wait to eat. Luckily, Mr. Bezos knows the good stuff to order. The waiter came out and set some cheese on fire. "Opa!" we shouted, and then the waiter put out the fire with lemon juice. We scooped up pieces of the melted cheese with a fork and ate them on pita bread. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. The main course was just as good. Alexis and I had gyros, which were like fajitas or soft tacos, but the meat was spiced differently. The sour cream tasted a little funny too. Maybe it wasn't sour cream. Alexis and I ate our gyros with fries. Dad probably ordered the fries thinking that's all I would eat. I asked Dad to let me taste some of his food. It reminded me of Hush Puppies, but he called it something like Feel Awful. I'll bet that's not the way it's spelled though. Finally, the waiter brought us the dessert menu. Yum! I wasn't sure what to get because I didn't know what anything was. I decided to try something that at least had an interesting spelling. I chose the baklava because I thought it might have ice cream holding back some chocolate lava. It didn't, but it tasted scrumptious. Real lava is melted rocks. The baklava was made of flaky pastry with nuts and some kind of syrup on the bottom. After we finished, the waiter came and cleared the dishes. I felt full, and it wasn't just the yummy food in my tummy. I was full of pride. Dad would no longer be able to call me a picky eater.
Sounds like Kylie had a lot of fun. I think her dad's dish was falafel, not feel awful. But I'm glad she included that part in her paper to give us more information about the Greek food. Let's answer the questions to see how she might make her paper better.
8. Where should Kylie add the following sentence in the second paragraph for more support? They had some unusual string instruments and a drum that looked like a beautiful vase.
Let's read the new sentence after each of the answers to see where it fits best. Start with answer A. That's sentence 6.
The whole evening was an experience to remember. They had some unusual string instruments and a drum that looked like a beautiful vase.
Putting the sentence there would lead us to ask who they are. That makes the word they an unclear pronoun reference. I'm sure we'll find a better answer. Let's look at B, after sentence 8.
The music they played was full of energy. They had some unusual string instruments and a drum that looked like a beautiful vase.
Kylie has already mentioned a band in sentence 7, and she's referred to their music. So the new sentence fits well here. But let's make sure this is the best place for the sentence. What about answer C? Try the new sentence after sentence 10.
We were busy learning the dance and working up an appetite, and we didn't see the waiter come to take our order. They had some unusual string instruments and a drum that looked like a beautiful vase.
No, that's not better. That makes it sound like the waiters had the instruments. Let's check answer D, after sentence 11.
Dad and Mr. Bezos ordered for us. They had some unusual string instruments and a drum that looked like a beautiful vase. No, that makes it sound like her dad and Mr. Bezos ordered the instruments. B is definitely our answer.
Let's fill it in.
9. What is the best way to rewrite sentence 10?
Let's look again at sentence 10.
We were busy learning the dance and working up an appetite, and we didn't see the waiter come to take our order. I understand what she's saying, but something seems wrong.
I agree. Let's look at our answer choices to find the best way to change this sentence.
A. We were busy learning the dance. We were working up an appetite. We didn't see the waiter come. He wanted to take our order.
That's sounding a bit choppy to me. While the original sentence was a run-on sentence, these may be too short to flow well. Let's look at our next choice.
B. We were busy learning the dance and working up an appetite, and we didn't see the waiter come to take our order.
Putting the comma there does not fix our run-on sentence.
C. We were busy learning the dance and working up an appetite, and we didn't see the waiter come to take our order.
That one looks good to me. We've turned the run-on sentence into a compound sentence.
So that means that D, make no change, isn't the best choice.
You're right. Our answer is C. I wonder what else we can do to make Kylie's story better.
10. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 16?
Let's review sentence 16.
We scooped up pieces of the melted cheese with a fork and ate them on pita bread. A. Change pieces to piece.
Let's try that in the sentence.
We scooped up piece of the melted cheese with a fork and ate them on pita bread.
No, that doesn't sound right. Look at the next one.
B says change ATE to EIGHT.
Oh, no. Using the number 8 would give me writer's indigestion.
What?
Never mind. My point is the past tense of eat is ATE. Answer B is wrong.
How about C? Change BREAD to BRED. I know the type of bread you eat is spelled BREAD, so the answer is not C.
You are a good speller.
That makes our answer D. Make no change. 11. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 20?
Let's read the sentence first.
The sour cream tasted a little funny too. That last word looks a little funny to me.
Many people confuse the different spellings for the word to. Use TWO if you are talking about a number. Use TOO if you are talking about also or excess, as in too much. Notice that it has an extra O to remind you of the excess. Use TO in all of the other cases.
I think it's being used in place of also in this sentence, so it should be TOO. If I substitute the word also, it still makes sense. The sour cream tasted a little funny also.
So the answer is A. Change TO to TOO.
12. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 26? A. Change spelled to spelling.
Let's try that out in the sentence. I'll bet that's not the way it's spelling, though. Oh, no. That makes it sound like the food has learned to spell. If that were the case, I doubt anyone would be eating it.
So A is wrong. The next answer is B. Change ITS to IT''S.
This is another problem a lot of people have when they are writing. ITS is a possessive pronoun. Use this spelling if you can replace the word its with his or her in the sentence, and the sentence still makes sense. IT'S is a contraction for it is. So, if you can replace its with it is in the sentence, then use the contraction. Let's see which one Kylie needs in sentence 26.
She didn't use the contraction.
Okay, let's replace its with his and see if the sentence makes sense.
I'll bet that's not the way his spelled, though. That doesn't make any sense.
Not at all. Now try replacing its with it is.
I'll bet that's not the way it is spelled, though. That sounds right.
Then Kylie should have used the contraction. That means B is probably our answer. But let's read the last two answers to be sure.
C. Change though to through.
That doesn't make sense.
D. Make no change. We know that's not right. So fill in answer B. Change ITS to IT''S.
Great! Let's look at the final question for Kylie's story.
13. Which sentence in the 5th paragraph should be deleted?
Let's look at each choice and see what we think. First is A, sentence 27.
Finally, the waiter brought us the dessert menu.
That fits with the overall paper about eating Greek food and going to a Greek restaurant.
I think that one should stay.
Me too. Let's look at B, sentence 29.
I wasn't sure what to get because I didn't know what anything was.
That fits too. Look at C, sentence 30.
I decided to try something that at least had an interesting spelling.
That's fine. She's describing how she made her choice. Let's look at our last option, D, sentence 33.
Real lava is melted rocks. That doesn't have anything to do with Greek food or eating at a restaurant.
You're right. That sentence should go away. So our answer is D, sentence 33. Some writing tests have questions based on a single sentence or a short passage. Let's look at a few questions like that.
14. Which sentence below is correct? A. Aiden, Marta, and Tao are excited because they're going to the carnival tomorrow.
Do you see anything wrong with this sentence?
Well, I'm thinking the word there might not be spelled right for the meaning in this sentence.
Good catch. The word there can be spelled 3 different ways. Each spelling has a different meaning. T-H-E-I-R is the possessive form of the pronoun they. This spelling would be used to refer to something that belonged to Aiden, Marta, and Tao.
The possessive there doesn't make sense in this sentence. This one is wrong. How about B? Aiden, Marta, and Tao are excited because they're going to the carnival tomorrow. Oops! Looks like there is misspelled again.
So it is. T-H-E-R-E is an adverb. It is often used to indicate a certain place or location. But it doesn't seem to work in answer B. Let's look at the next one.
C. Aiden, Marta, and Tao are excited because they're going to the carnival tomorrow. That looks right.
Yes. T-H-E-Y'-R-E is a contraction for they are. And that makes perfect sense here.
I don't see anything else wrong with answer C. And the last answer, D, all 3 sentences above are correct, can't be right. We know A and B are wrong.
So the answer is C. Aiden, Marta, and Tao are excited because they're going to the carnival tomorrow.
15. Which of the following words should go in the blank to best complete this sentence? Yesterday, Kara blank her favorite kind of fruit at the store.
When you are writing, be sure to use the correct verb tense. In this sentence, the word yesterday tells us that we need a past tense verb. Answer A, choose, is a present tense verb. Look at B, choosed. The ED at the end makes it sound like it is past tense. However, choose is one of those tricky irregular verbs. Answer C, chosen has to have a helping verb to be used correctly. For example, we would say, she has chosen something, or they have chosen something. So our answer must be D, chose. Let's try it out in the sentence.
Yesterday, Kara chose her favorite kind of fruit at the store. That sounds right. Fill in answer D. Chose. 16. What revision, if any, should be made to the following sentence? Mike didn't bring Emily a snack from the concession stand because she said she didn't want nothing.
Just looking at that sentence, what do you think is wrong?
The sentence would sound better to me if it had the word anything instead of the word nothing.
I'm very glad, because when you are writing or speaking, you should try to avoid using a double negative.
What's a double negative?
I don't not know. I'm just kidding. A double negative is when two negative words are used in the same part of a sentence.
So, since question 16 has the two negative words didn't and nothing in the last part, that sentence has a double negative?
Right. Now try reading the sentence again, but replace nothing with anything.
Mike didn't bring Emily a snack from the concession stand because she said she didn't want anything. Ah, that really is better.
Now check and see if that is one of the answers.
Hey, that's answer A. Change nothing to anything.
Super! You are practicing to become an excellent proofreader. Writing tests may or may not have multiple choice questions. Whether the one you take does or does not, you've had some great practice proofreading.
Yes, and you've given me some good tips to catch those careless arrows.
Wait a second.
Just joking. I meant errors.
Hey writers! You can find my posters at marcothepencil.com. Ciao!